Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, August 4th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses technical analysis and charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of technical analysis and charts that traders can use to help make good decisions as traders, then this will be a video for you. And one quick note before we get started, if you are new, just keep in the back of your mind that I am offering this free live training class actually tomorrow on Wednesday. So if you're interested and you're liking what you see and you're wanting to learn more about how charts can be used, how they should be used, how they shouldn't be used to build consistency as a trader, then I want to personally invite you to sign up for the class. So like I said, just keep it in mind in the back of your mind that there's class does exist. And if you want to get signed up, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description box. And then if you're watching at my site, claytrader.com, there's several areas around the screen that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, just keep it in the back of your mind. First stock here, ticker symbol AMD. Did this in yesterday's top 10 video, and it really just shows how crazy strong this stock actually is. Talked about this rising wedge pattern in the previous video, which is a bearish pattern. And at one point, the chart had that candle which formed right there after the opening 30 minutes. So I should note that what we're looking at here is the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of those candles represents 30 minutes of time. But the opening 30 minutes, price went all the way up there and then came all the way back down. And at that point, a more than rational thought was, okay, here comes the break to the downside of this rising wedge pattern. I mean, you got a very nasty upwards wick there, came back down, and then it did actually temporary break down below there, which was a cruel and savage move, because from there just went up, came down there, and then so it just shows how strong it is. Also shows that nothing is guaranteed. Although I will say that if these setups, if you take those sorts of setups to the short side, more times than not, you will be just fine. But yeah, because there are no guarantees, sometimes like this, you'll get caught in a setup like that, and then up it goes. So overall, AMD continues to show its strength. And, it just goes to show that this one is kind of in a category of its own right now. If there are any sort of, bigger pullbacks here, the main level, at least I would be interested in, is that previous breakout point right around 110.50. But yeah, as of now, as long as this thing keeps on putting those higher highs and higher lows, that's what matters most. But there's no denying it. AMD, very, very strong. Next one here, ticker symbol AMC, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video previously because this was in the top 10. But the couple levels I did really pertain, and the main one right here, and this will mean more to those of you that watched the previous video, and I'm not patting myself on the back here, but I am definitely patting charts on the back. The tool of technical analysis truly does have good, solid, practical uses. Of course, nothing is perfect, as you just saw with AMD. That bearish pattern got punched in the face. However, in this situation, it worked out perfectly. Now, like I said, will mean more to those that watch the previous videos, but I drew that green line in there in the previous video, and wouldn't you know it, check out this big nasty move, came down there, found some support right around that green line, and is now bouncing back upwards. So pointer being that area right around 32.65 was the key area of support. Not only did that area of support hold, but now it's acted as a support and it started to bounce back upwards, which now leads to the next key dynamic here of can the price break above 34.50, which is centered around a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken, and 34.50 was this morning. They tend to act as resistance, and the good news here is that the final 30 minutes of the day, you can see via that candle right there, very, very strong, very, very impressive. So while that doesn't guarantee anything, it does make it a more than rational thought to be thinking, I think the price could at least get up there and retest that level. Does it break? Well, your guess is as good as mine, but that is a level that does seem to be within striking distance. So if this bounce is going to continue and build any sort of worthwhile power, then it's got to get up above 34.50. And then, of course, if the price does pull back down, you certainly want to see the price stay above 32.65. But overall, nice little bounce underway here. So let's see if the price can build upon the momentum. Next one here, ticker symbol HOOD for Robinhood here. And what a great, great recovery. I mean, things were looking pretty rough, but then the price came up here and just broke up through that trend line and never really looked back today. But this is also one of these situations where you don't want to get too caught up in the excitement and then buy and chase the price and get a bad entry point. So the level here that I'm very curious about moving forward is going to be, let's try that again. Change up. There we go. Will it be this area right here, which was a resistance trend line, but again, that foundational rule, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, they tend to act as support. So for me, if you're somebody that's, likes to play pullbacks to just ensure that you're not chasing the price and that you can create, a little bit better risk reward situations, then to me, that down around that trend line there, and let's call it $43, give or take, seems to be an interesting area. Again, that doesn't mean that the price is going to go down there and bounce from it. But my point here is that a random spot to be buying? Is that just like throwing a dart? Absolutely not. And that's why charts are powerful, is they allow you to think and make rational and logical trade plans. So like I said, any sort of pullbacks to around 43 or whatever the value of that trend line is, in my mind, is an interesting area. Or if you're just a flat out breakout player and you're like, nope, Clay, I don't like pullbacks. I only want to play breakouts. Well, the near-term breakout point at this point in time is right up there around the $47 mark. So keep an eye on that. If 47 can be broken, then at that point, it's just a question of, okay, well, where did the party officially stop today? And that was up there right around 48.50. So that would be the next key hurdle that would need to be cleared. But all in all, a very, very good day for Robinhood. Next one here, ticker symbol XELA. I've done this one several times in the past, then things kind of went dormant. People stopped talking about it. But then over the past couple of days, especially today, the interest is very clearly back, and the easiest way to see that is just looking down there at that volume. Nice return of volume, then of course the price reacted very nicely with it. So map out a couple of key areas here. First level from more of the support and pullback location. So same conversation that we just had in regards to, if you want to buy pullbacks in me, right around that 303 area makes a little bit more sense. If you want to be, a little bit more conservative on the pullback, of course, if you think, no, Clay, I'd want to be more aggressive, well then, hey, that's up to you. That's up to your personal risk tolerance. But that 303 mark is that previous breakout point. Actually, now that I talk about it out loud, I think I'm going to adjust that down more so right around, let's just make it the $3 mark. So $3, interesting area on any sort of pullback. But then as far as breakout areas are concerned, let me squeeze this down. The key level here that I believe the price got rejected at today, close, not quite, but right up there around $3.35. This was a former area of support back here. And you can see the price got within the general vicinity of there. But, as far as breakout levels are concerned, if the price can get up there and then push up, make a push up through that level, not guaranteed, but valid to think that break right there could in and of itself create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. But all in all, no doubt about it, things definitely came back to life today. So we'll see if the life can continue and maybe even get even stronger over the next couple of days. Next one here, ticker symbol PLTR, and this is all based around a simple pattern, and a pattern that is one of my favorites, and I think it's a great pattern to keep an eye on. So let me just get this pattern here drawn up. So that part right there is just the support part of it, the uptrending trend line of the pattern, and then the key dynamic here and that key breakout area, which it seems as though the price has really struggled to get up through right there at about $22.40. And in technical jargon, this would be known as an ascending triangle pattern, which is bullish. Now remember, just like we'll go back to AMD, just because a pattern, and now in that situation it was bearish, doesn't mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to act bearish. Just because in this situation it's a bullish pattern, doesn't mean that for sure guaranteed it's going to act bullish. But is it rational? Is it at least a valid thought process to have that? The price can get up to $22.40 and get the breakup through there. That would be a technical pattern breakout. There are a lot of people out there that watch pattern breakouts, so call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. That could, create more buying upside pressure. Is that a rational thought process? Absolutely. Not guaranteed, but by no means random. So overall, really pretty straightforward. PLTR 30-minute time frame, ascending triangle pattern. Now it's just a question of which way is the price ultimately going to go. How is the price going to behave within this pattern? It'll be interesting to see over the next couple of days. Next one here, ticker symbol NSAV. We're down in the world of penny stocks. Been doing this one very routinely, but the volume remains strong. And today, now the drama is definitely picking up. And, how does the chart look? What do I think about the chart? Well, that really is all a matter of perspective. Meaning if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, or maybe you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well, then from that perspective, the chart looks absolutely terrible. Now, if you care about things from the bigger picture point of view, yeah, no doubt about it, there has been a large pullback. And at this point, I'm still going to use the word terminology of pullback. Now, some people may say, no, Clay, it's time to start to use the word reversal. Personally, I'm not going to quite use that word yet, but the level here that I would definitely, call a must-hold level now moving forward, right there at 0.078. Meaning if the price, and I'm not saying this will occur at all, but just for explanation, if the price were to come down to 0.078 and then break down through there, at that point, that's where I would personally also start to use the terminology of a reversal. No longer calling this a pullback, but saying, something just doesn't quite seem to be right. So it's looking like the price is reversing. But like I said, me personally right now, I'm still going to call this just now definitely an intense pullback, definitely a deep pullback, but a pullback nonetheless. But, in my mind, 0.078, very, very important for all those reasons discussed. If there is any sort of attempted bounce back to the upside, key area of resistance now going to be right up there at the 11-cent mark. But yeah, over the next couple of days, going to be very interesting to see if this is indeed a pullback or if it transitions into being a reversal. Next one here, ticker symbol FLGC. Beautiful, beautiful explosion here. had the nice little pattern, came up, had this, and then got the breakout through it right there. And now it's basically a case of deja vu. Same pattern is essentially forming, and it's just a question now of going forward of, all right, can the history repeat itself? And it's, once again, I realize I keep saying this, but I just want to harp on the fact that nothing is guaranteed. Technical charts are not a holy grail, but is it rational to think that it could repeat itself? Absolutely. I mean, we already have one example of it right there. So to think that it could happen again, I mean, that's rational. And that's where this trend line here is now going to come into play. And I'm also going to get, if I could, there we go. And put this line down here like that. And what we have here, and I'm curious, is are we going to get some sort of good, solid bull flag pattern? So I'll change that to green to represent more so the bullish pattern. Meaning over the next couple of days, maybe just, tomorrow, is the price going to just kind of stay around this area with the idea of eventually can it get back up there and then push up through the trend line? Now, maybe it doesn't want to wait that long at all. For all I know, maybe it's just going to go up and explode up there through, on Wednesday morning. Who knows? Maybe this is the end of the show and it's just going to collapse to the downside. But that's where you got to play, and just figure out what do you want to do. Do you want to try to, play the bottom part where you buy down here and wait for a bounce? Are you a breakout player? Are you looking to buy the breakout of the pattern? Only you can decide those sorts of things. But the moral of the story here is that as of right now, especially if I get this pull portion put into play, there does seem to be what would be known as a bull flag pattern here that's potentially going to take shape. So we'll see what happens with it on Wednesday. Next one here, ticker symbol CEMI. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a nice pattern here that's formed, but the reason why it really catches my eye is that this thing has a track record of moving and moving very big. So you can see that just a few weeks ago, came to life, made a big explosion there, made a big explosion there. Does that mean it'll happen again? No. But can it do it? Has it proven it can do it? Yeah, it absolutely has. And then you factor in kind of that background context with the pattern that formed today, and maybe this thing is getting ready to really come to life again, which in my mind is where this $3.60, I take that back. $3.65 is an interesting area here as a potential breakout point. And you can also see, let me get this down here. And then there's also this potential trendline breakout right there that could serve as an area of support. Can't remember, talked about this before. One of these trendline resistance breakouts now be, potentially behaving as support if it comes down to it. So those are going to be really the main dynamics here from a, kind of key price perspective. You have 365 main area of resistance. You have that trend line right there, which could be a nice little pullback point. But the main dynamics, again, are the price has a history of moving very big, and the price has begun to move again. It's formed a nice pattern. So let's see if this is indeed the start of something much bigger. Next one here, ticker symbol EDU, and this all revolves around one question because the dynamic is now in play. It's just a question, okay, well, what do you think is going to happen next now that this dynamic has played out? And just to set up the context here, there is this nasty, nasty downtrend right here, which you can see that the price, after a very impressive bounce, just started to bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed, could never get above that red line, but today it did. So in other words, there has been a trend line breakout, which leads to the question of, do you believe this is the start of something much bigger? Is this trendline breakout a leading indicator of, hey, there's more upside momentum to come? Maybe it's not. If there's faulty breakouts, it could very well just be a faulty breakout. But key point here is that at least the box has been checked. At least the trendline has been broken, which then leads to a more than valid question now of, all right, now we can start to ask ourselves, is this the start of something bigger? I mean, think about it. While the price was down below that trend line, it made no sense to say, wow, is this the start of something bigger? Because you'd be valid to say, what do you mean start of something bigger? It hasn't even broken the trend line. But that's not the case anymore, right? It has broken the trend line. So now, is it the start of something bigger? We'll see what happens with it. And that's going to be the main dynamic here. If this thing wants to roll back over, then so be it. I suppose it's not the start of anything bigger. But that box has been checked. The trend line has been broken. So let's see what happens over the next couple of days. Next one here, ticker symbol WHLM. And I really struggled on this one. Is this just some quick pump and dump piece of garbage? Or is this just kind of one of these things where it's suckering people in to think that it's game over only to just kind of turn itself around? And the main reason why I'm going to give it a chance is it formed a very, very clear level of support. Right down there, let's just call it $5.90. You can see that this morning that was the low. And then after this afternoon, after basically going straight down, all of a sudden, the price just started to go sideways, and surprise, surprise, again, a classic example on the power of charts. Where did it start to go sideways? Well, hey, look, it happened to go right at that low right there. So $5.95 going to be that area where, it's very telling, meaning if the price all of a sudden just crashes down through there, okay, then obviously this was just a temporary breath. before the continued dump occurred. But I mean, if this thing just continues to go sideways and sideways and sideways, while that doesn't necessarily guarantee anything, it does become more and more valid. It becomes more and more rational to think, hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, this is finally finding a bottom and it's going to, get some sort of bounce to the upside. So to me, it's all about that 595 mark. And if, it just continues on down from a risk rewards perspective, assuming, of course, you can honor stop losses, you can manage risk, then, you have very minimal risk. But if this is just a healthy pullback and it all of a sudden, comes back upwards, you have a whole lot of upside potential reward relative to the risk that's sitting here right now, at that right around the 595 mark, 59-ish area, right around that area. So like I said, it's looking shaky, but I don't know. The way it consolidated out, maybe this shakiness is actually, some sort of just, way to kind of scare some people off while bringing other people in. So Wednesday is certainly going to be a very interesting day on this one. So that wraps up the top 10. And again, I just want to personally invite you to this live free class that I'm offering. So if you did like what you heard, what you saw, and you're starting to see the practical power of using technical analysis as a tool to make good decisions as a trader and build consistency, then like I said, offering the class, it'll be Wednesday, August 4th, and it'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So just keep in mind Eastern time there. But like I said, get signed up and I'll talk about a whole lot more about charts, how they should be used, how they should not be used, why they work, and you'll get a whole lot more. And then also, as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format and would like for me to continue to make these videos, please let me know. And you can do that very easily. Hit the like button, leave a basic comment, even if it's just a smiley face, even if it's just saying hi. But those two things communicate to me that you do enjoy the top 10 format. As long as I know that it's worth the time and effort to do them, then I have no problem continuing to do this video. But like I said, and as I always say, from a strictly time management perspective, I need to ask just to make sure that it's worth my time to even do this. So by doing those two things, you'll communicate that to me. And again, if you're interested in learning more about charts, get signed up for the class. Everybody take care. Have a good one.